going to continue to have from year to year. So, yes.
Thank you, Dr. Jagaday. Oh, hi.
Folks home can't see us otherwise. So.
Hi. Yeah, so my name is Karen Cloud. I'm actually a retired teacher from the Brandywine School District. I taught at Concord High School English for 25 years. I'm actually a Concord High School graduate, so we won't talk about when I graduated, though. That's proprietary. I have 2 boys that are special needs, and one is currently a senior at Concord High School, so I'm very much aware of how overwhelming this process can be, you know, how much information is out there and how little time you have to actually kind of figure it out, right? So that's why Dr. Jagaday and I wanted to get together and come up with this kind of program as a start, a very quick dip in the pool of the resources that are out there to help you and your children learn more about the transition from high school to college, and also the services that are out there at colleges and universities, and what you need to, some information that you need to know to be able to access those services. So this is a vision that I think that the district has. There's a lot of exciting things that they'll be talking to you about that they've been developing, which is fantastic. I'm trying to think. The first person, oh, before I forget, there are Scan Me codes. I was trying to tell people as you are coming in, if you scan that QR code, it's going to give you a list of links to the various organizations that will be speaking, to the various colleges, their disability services, that they have specific, very special programs, so that it's very easy for you to reference. At the top, there's also some general information. For example, understood.org. If you're not familiar with that website, it's an awesome, awesome website that has parent-friendly information. And it tells you, hey, this is what college accommodations are. And the second one is the Delaware Disability Hub. I remembered, right? It is a fantastic resource that talks about so many different aspects of services that are available in Delaware for your children. So, and we will follow up. If you have a chance and you can't download it, some folks are running into challenges, we will absolutely follow up and make sure that you have that document. So with that said, I would like to introduce, may I? Are we ready?
Mind coming over this way?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Sorry. Just so I'm not standing there on you guys.
Okay.
There you go. You're good. You're good.
Okay. So I'm going to ask Dr. McCullough to come up. She is the interim director of special education services in the Brandywine School District, and we're so thankful that both she and Dr. Holman could help us pull this off. So I'm going to turn it over to you so that you can share the information about transitioning. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to do my best to stand behind the podium. I'm never like a podium speaker. I'm usually always around, and I want to be closer to you all so we don't feel like we're in a big auditorium trying to get a lot of information. As they explained to you, I am the interim director of special education for the Brandywine School District, and tonight we're going to just briefly go over college transition, what it looks like for the students that we currently serve, and what it's going to look like for you as families, as parents, and everyone navigating the system so your student or your child, or now young adult, can transition to college pretty seamlessly. I'm blessed. I have a senior in college now, so I kind of understand what that transition looks like, and I also have a son that graduated from college approximately, I guess, 4 years ago now. And so I remember being in your seat, just preparing for that transition. So hopefully tonight we can assist in that. And we are also going to, as we go over some of these are some of the key topics that we'll touch on tonight. And again, every child, every student, every adult even is different. No one has the same disability. No one responds the same. And so we're going to be talking in general. And there may be some specific needs that your child may have individually. We can kind of talk through those through questions, through Q&A. If you feel more comfortable talking with me afterwards, I definitely will be around, or with the supports and service we have. So we're just going to kind of talk about what does neurodivergent mean, some common challenges, supports during the transition. You know, transition to college for anybody is difficult, but you compound that when our kids have significant needs. And then what are some targeted supports to help prepare you as parents and the students be prepared to move on to the next level. And it's difficult regardless. So definitely some ways that we can connect with colleges and leverage those supports. And then again, ways to be proactive, proactive in doing so. So neurodivergent, like in scientifically speaking, individuals with neurological, gotta remember to be over here, neurological development and functioning differ from what is considered typical or neurotypical. And within that, that's probably a new, bigger term, so to speak, or a bigger way to identify students who have fallen within on the spectrum or had what we call ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, dyslexia, dyscalculia, or OCD, obsessive compulsive disorders, amongst a few. So this concept emphasizes that these are variations of part of the brain rather than disorders to be cured. And I think that's very important as we talk about it. And in layman's terms, it's just a natural part of the human diversity. We are diverse in the way we look, the way we speak, in our educational backgrounds, and this is the same with our brain. Our brain works in different ways, and that's okay. So typical is not always better. There are so many employers that actually prefer to hire students or adults that have, quote unquote, the disability. I had a young man that I worked with, and he really loved to see students that were on the spectrum or neurodivergent because they really focused on the task at hand. And school is one of the places where we only focus on the weaknesses and not the gifts. At least that has been their experience. So the environment affects our abilities. A disability might simply be a person in an environment that isn't set up to accommodate them. And so that's important for us to think about. When our students are transitioning to college, they're transitioning into something that they really enjoy. It's something that they want to see, they see themselves in as far as their post-secondary outcomes, as far as employment. And so what better way to support them? And so it's just an opportunity to supercharge their presence and for us as educators to design environments that allows everyone to flourish. And so I think that's very important. Some of the challenges, can you guys still hear me okay? It sounded like it went out. Some of the challenges that we see with some of our students that transition to college centered around social interactions, navigating the social norms. Now, if they decide to live on campus, now they're responsible for waking up independently, getting up, making their bed. Some of you probably will laugh because that's probably some of the things that's happening at home, whether typical or having some disabilities. So, is this going out? You guys can hear me okay? Okay. Navigating social norms, sensory overload. There's so many different things happening, in the dorm, across the campus. Students are walking across campus and seeing students from all walks of life. Numerous buildings actually going outside instead of walking down the hall to a classroom right next door. And so that sometimes can be an overload for some of our students that are transitioning to college. Executive functioning skills, the organizational piece, the time management piece, those are areas that, students really struggle with. Going to college. My daughter, who, like I said, is a senior this year, her freshman year was probably the most challenging year that she's ever had. She was supposed to go away to school in North Carolina and decided that was too far. She thought we were going to move and pick up and move our whole family to North Carolina, and then decided I can't go that far. Now she's only 10 minutes away from my home, but still thought that was too far. Just staying in the dorm with somebody, it's like, I can't even cry if I wanted to, type thing. And I can't even respond because someone is now sharing this room with you. And not only the room, you're sharing bathrooms with people you don't know. So all those different things really can impact our students as they transition in. Opportunities for self-advocacy, many times and probably more often than not, our students rely on us to advocate for them. And we probably could do a better job even at the school level of really building in some self-advocacy skills so that the students know how to access their services, access their supports, talk with teachers about what challenges they're facing, talk with the residence assistants in the dorms to find out how they can have additional supports and services. And just overall navigating campus life. That's a huge challenge for most of our students. And also the last of the challenges was cultural and societal expectations. Maybe boyfriend and girlfriend experiences. I know some of us don't, want to close our ears to that, but that's a part of life. Being exposed to things they may not have been exposed to in school or in your homes. Homelessness, people from other countries in their classrooms with them, larger class sizes, smaller class sizes. So all those things are just some cultural and societal expectations that sometimes poses challenges from some of the students as they transition from the K-12 world into college. So some supports, supporting students during this transition. First, just have an open communication and not being afraid to share exactly what struggles that your child has, but also not to forget about sharing the gifts and the strengths that your child has. Because those strengths and those gifts are probably even more important. I think sometimes we forget about that. Sharing best way to contact. Most of the students that we serve, they have cell phones, they have other technology devices, utilizing those devices, who to contact within your home, any emergency contacts, any medical needs, those types of things. And usually when they transition to college, they'll have their physicals, they'll do all their shots and they need to do. But there's also usually on-campus mental health pieces, counseling services, support, so those things are there. But just knowing where they are and how to access them are so important. Foster a supportive environment. There are a lot of students and a lot of opportunities on campus to connect with mentors, peer mentors. And again, there's counseling groups, there's sororities and fraternities where students can access. There's so many different supports and services, probably from when you and I were in college or in school, that our students are able to access. Resources and accommodations in most colleges, this is a little bit different. I know I can speak to one of the local colleges here with Delaware State University, where the students actually have to apply every semester to receive accommodations and supports. And that was a big change for, my own children that may have received services. When I was a middle and high school principal, they would say, hey, I didn't know in January, I no longer had the supports that I was used to in high school, because in some colleges, like Delaware State, for example, you have to apply every semester for your accommodations and supports and services. And just opportunities to enhance social connections, maybe getting involved in activities. There's so many activities available on college campuses, and if we can get our students more involved in those, it's a better connection to the school and more success they usually have. I know I spoke a little bit about the mental health support. Most colleges have counseling services. They have mental health support, whether you're an athlete or non-athlete. I know both University of Delaware and Delaware State are starting a unified basketball program. So I know some of our students were involved in unified sports, some are not. But it's another opportunity for our students to be involved in extracurricular activities. And it's a great opportunity for us to also educate our faculty and staff. I've heard a lot of times that one teacher told me, and she was teacher of the year like three or four times in her 30 years, that educating one of the students that I used to mentor was probably the first year she ever taught, because she never had a child like that. And so she had to reach into her bag and find ways to accommodate and support and provide all different types of differentiated instruction where she had not had to do so in the past. And so sometimes just having conversations and doing nights like today, being proactive and maybe volunteering on the college to say, hey, I want to do some training with other families, or I want to do some training for your teaching staff, because sometimes our teachers of higher ed may not have had opportunities to work with students with disabilities. And so it's just so important. And again, encourage exploration across campus, maybe having students try things they have not tried before. And sometimes as parents, we have to get out the way too, because our fears sometimes we put on them. And sometimes when we're really concerned about the boyfriend-girlfriend experience, or we're really concerned about our students not fitting in or not falling in line with social norms, I will say this generation is probably more inclusive and understanding than our generation was. And so some of the challenges that we're fearful of aren't challenges they will necessarily face. If anything, you'll see more and more students that are going to lend that helping hand to support the students that we serve. So just want to highlight briefly just some of the supports that Brandywine School District provides as we prepare our kids for career and college readiness. First, we start with some transition supports in reference to career inventories. You ever ask your kid, what do they want to do when they grow up? And they look at you like, I have no clue. Well, sometimes doing a career inventory can pull on some of their strengths and some of their gifts and some of the things that they like to do and really push out possible careers that they may not even have even thought of. We also have special ed coordinators in every building. At the secondary level, there are 2 in each of the buildings that assist with IEP planning. I know most of you probably have met your special ed coordinator, but they can also help with that transition to college. They are really involved in the transition planning, but it's also a great opportunity just to have those conversations on how do I access accommodations in college? How do I connect with the tutoring centers? Because there are a lot of tutoring centers, writing centers, study groups, opportunities at the college level, and they're accessible to you. And then goal setting. What are some goals that we can set for our students? And maybe it's by semester. They don't always have to be the long-term goal of just getting to graduation, because we all know there's a lot of steps before we get there. But what can we do to set our students up for success just in the first week of school? You know, and some of the things we can do, we're going to kind of talk through that as I get later into the presentation. We also have school psychologists available in all of our schools to really hit on the self-advocacy piece. And I said that's an area where I think we could do a little bit better all the way across the board, because at the end of the day, we're still mom, we're still dad, we're still grandma, or aunt, uncle, whomever, family members and caregivers. And we want to kind of protect our students from sometimes even making the decisions or being involved in situations that are uncomfortable. But it's a great opportunity to teach our students how they can better support themselves and advocate for themselves. Executive functioning, time management skills, social skills, interest-based groups, and mindfulness are some of the activities and groups and opportunities our school psychologists make sure they embed either within the IEP process itself or just within the school. And then of course, our school counselors can help with a lot of those things as well, in addition to assistance with the application process. There are a lot of common applications, processes where you can apply to, you pay one fee for the application and actually are applying to a host of schools. I know a lot of the HBCUs, historically Black colleges and universities, have a lot of those opportunities where you pay the one-time $35 fee and you actually have applied to almost every school across the country that's under that tag. And that's very common even in some others. There are other opportunities to even get that those fees waived, especially for students with disabilities or if you have some income restraints. So please just talk with your guidance counselor, school counselor, about those opportunities when you start getting to the point of applications and applying. Access to career pathways, clubs, extracurricular activities, it's always there. The more your students are involved and connected to school, the better they'll be. Parent council, this is kind of one of the pieces of the parent council, how we're doing targeted training and workshops throughout the year. Looking at that and utilizing what you see as a need district-wide. Also assistance with letters of recommendations. Some schools require that students have letters of recommendations for admittance. And I know I've written a number as a principal, even in my role as interim director or before I retired, director of special education. And then family and parent resources. There's so many different things that you can get. I know they talked about using the QR code tonight, and now once you're registered, we'll be able to send more and more and more information out to you. We also have within the district social workers to help navigate. Sometimes they may have access to support you or your student with housing, or what does the dorm look like, or accessing accommodation supports and needs for dorms. And then, of course, DVR, that is in the back, that it's a table available. And so again, just real quick, connecting with colleges to leverage support, know how to access these services, disability services. Typically, if you go to any college website, most college, where you can look under Google, right on their search engine, disability services, it'll pop up and take you to different things so you can read about how the school provides accommodation and support. Now, please note the IEP or the supports and services is going to look like the IEP your child has now. Okay, so they're going to be very particular about how you navigate that, and it's a little bit different. So, but there you will look at how to access accommodations, consultations, and supports, mentoring, and academic advising. Each student will receive an advisor that will help them navigate at least the academic portions of that, and the students should utilize that advisor more often than not. A few other things is accessibility services, assistive technology. Many of the students that are in the room or in our district have a host of assistive technology. Some schools provide it to all students regardless, and some just provide it on an at-need basis. I can say for Delaware State, every student receives pretty much assistive technology right from the start. Orientation programs, transition support, social integrations are there, meaning you can ask for tours prior to college even starting, to see the school, go on to campus tours, see where things are. That way you can point it out, like let your child know or student know where the counseling services are, where the accessibility building is, and things like that. And then, of course, academic and career workshops. I would highly advise everybody to kind of look at the calendar of events for whatever college your child determines they're going to go to, and just kind of make a calendar. Like they always have their phone usually, right? So if you can drop in their calendar, let them know, hey, this is the day to, reminders, and then they'll start getting used to doing those things for themselves as well. And I don't know why I did that, but I think when I emailed it, it kind of got funky. But really, at the end of the day, it's just an opportunity to advocate. You are your child's biggest supporter and advocate. We want to be a partner in that journey, so just make sure you're doing that. Advocate and make sure that his or her needs are always being met. Ask a lot of questions. Understand that it's not a one-size-fits-all. And now their transition to college is going to be a little bit different. And for some of us, it's going to be scary, but it's probably more scary for us as parents than it is for your child. But if you can just have your students in the right places and build that network, they'll be better served. So those are just some quick highlights of things that we can do as parents, what we can do in partnerships as, Brandywine School District, and then to support your child as they go to the next level, which is college. So with that said, do you have any questions for the floor? And people on Zoom, I hope I didn't get too close to the camera or veer off too much, so I apologize if I did. Okay. Questions? And again, I'll stay after if anybody needs anything. If not, or if you want to email me, you can always email me through the Brandywine School District website at josette.mccullough, and then it's the @BSD, the whole nine. Yes, ma'am.
Is it okay if we make your slides available to the attendants?
Yes, yes, absolutely. I'll try to, I don't know when I emailed this, how it got mixed up, but I'll try to fix that and then resubmit so you can have that. But again, just some quick tips, and definitely could go into each of those slides a lot deeper, but just want to give a surface overview.
Thank you. Great, thank you so much. My name is Susan Holman, and I am the College and Career Center at Brandywine High School. I joined this community tonight wearing many hats. Number one, in my professional role at Brandywine, I'm also a mother of a almost 20-year-old going to college abroad, which hurts my heart a little. I have a senior in high school, so we're dealing with daily drama regarding finishing things by November 1st. And then I have my very awesome and super neurodivergent, almost 12-year-old Ariella in middle school, and we're trying to figure out how the backpack gets home without the entire classroom supplies and not anything else that she needs. So I stand here with you in many capacities tonight. While I am housed out of Brandywine High School, I wanted to just carve out a minute and introduce you guys to a new added resource to Dr. McCullough's list that this district now has. As of Monday, they hired a college and career advisor, I believe is the technical position. Very excited to work with somebody who has been super instrumental in helping us create programs at Brandywine, Jen Honda Shane. She's here with us tonight. She brings outstanding knowledge. She's like a podcast post-secondary junkie. So if she doesn't know the answer, she gets it. I unfortunately am not able to stay till the end of tonight's program, but she did mention that she's going to be here at the end if you want to introduce yourself or ask her specific questions. So one of the things that I'm going to overlap a little bit with Dr. McCullough, but some of the things that I just want to sort of empower this group with is that when you embark on any type of a transition, whether it's post-secondary, whether it's moving to another state, every person, no matter their abilities or disabilities, has to embark on a journey of a fit factor. And that fit factor has to incorporate a really deep knowledge of who you are, what you believe you need, what you believe you don't need, and then space to pivot, some of that like built-in flexibilities, okay? One of the things that I run into pretty regularly as I sit down to meet with families of parents, of students graduating and preparing for that next step is that the parent is able to quote literally in order word to word every accommodation and modification that that student needs, but the student maybe isn't even aware of any accommodations or modifications that they're receiving in their education. So that can be really challenging because we don't want to just pull supports and have services fall through. But as we consider sending our child somewhere, depending on where you choose to send them, your ability to advocate for them could be better or worse. So keeping in mind how much your child needs your support in advocating is going to be an additional fit factor piece that you're going to have to consider. And this is a good time of year where I suggest to parents and students to start really engaging in some reflective practice about that. You know, understanding as they go through their journey at whatever level they're at, spending time just empowering them to unpack a setback they had that day. What did they need? If that setback were to happen again, what could they do differently? And start building some transferable self-confidence in them. Also helping them to really identify who their point people are. Because whether you're able, disabled, neurodivergent, neurotypical, you need to have your people, no matter where you are. So helping them identify that can be a really rewarding experience, especially if you can backdoor let their point person know that they're that person, so it can be a successful interaction. So when, you know, a student comes home and says, I had this problem today, and just holding them accountable to steps. Did you connect with your point person? What did they tell you to do? And did you do it? And helping them, you know, not feel shame or anything. No, I didn't. Okay, so let's try again. Before I tell you what you're going to practice, going to your point person, and that point person in the building, be it a counselor or a spec ed coordinator or an academic support teacher or case manager, can work on those initial interactions, saying things like, what do you need? And asking very targeted questions to, by the end of the year, closing that gap so that the student can come and without being prompted, share some of those needs, right? I think a check and balance system where you're starting to evaluate ahead of this transition what that home team looks like, and making sure that targeted schools or post-secondary programs have space at the table for that home team, okay? I tell every student I meet with, what are some things about yourself you know you need? What are some things about yourself you know you don't need? And nothing about this process is making ourselves be someone we're not. We don't change ourselves for programs. We seek programs that want us for who we are. We want to empower every student to feel proud of their journeys, encouraged by their challenges, determined and resilient. And so the last thing we want to do is put them in a program that doesn't meet them where they're at. So on that note, there's a lot of things to consider when evaluating programs, okay? Academic support services looks different than accessibility and accommodations, okay? And I see some of you taking pictures. Please feel free. I also told them that they could put this out tomorrow, and my contact is available for follow-up questions. So some things to think about. Are academic services a room number in a student union where your child's expected to go and check in with someone and know exactly what they need? Or is it a program that's expecting your student at designated times, okay? Thinking about things like support centers and locations. Some larger schools have like transportation challenges to get from dorming areas to main parts of campus. Is that a projected challenge for your child? And the disability support that they have available for your child to access that. Are there enough spacings in the schedule for them to get to that main campus and then back for their courses? Pacing and course load, every school is going to be different about how that's, some require a certain number of credits to be considered a full-time student. And with becoming a full-time student gives you access to programs and amenities and things on campus. And when you're not a full-time student, sometimes you don't get that. Is there room for students who are not going to take a full course load but want all of the benefits of being a full-time student? Transition services, are those front-loaded? A school that doesn't have a dedicated transition service for neurodivergent or any student that may need it, I would wonder about the services that they're going to continue to offer once they get there. A front-loaded transition service would be something like an experiential weekend during the application year where you come and you live in the dorm and you practice, or the summer before you have your own orientation, so that by the time you go to the orientation with everybody else and everyone's like, where's the dining hall? You already know the answer to that. Just giving them some of that self-esteem and self-confidence to start, versus transition services that exist throughout, like weekly meetings, mentoring, things like that. Access and accommodations, accessibility is usually not subjective. If you need a handicap doorway, that's required by law that exists. Just understanding the offices for that. Sometimes those services exist separately from academic support services. Sometimes they're in the same office, but they're two different things. Campus culture and inclusivity, understanding if supports are integrated or pulled out. And then being able to answer that question back from the initial question of what's best for your kid. Is your kiddo one who's better off integrated or not, right? And starting to unpack some of those differences. Also in thinking about clubs and organizations, nowadays in social media, everything is available online. So when a student says they're really excited to go to a school because on the webpage it says they have the whatever club, have you looked it up on, what are the big things that kids go on now? I'm not even... Instagram, that's the one I was thinking of. Instagram, how active is it? When's the last time they posted? How many members are in it? If your kid's going to a school with 10,000 kids and they're super jazzed about a club that has 3 members that hasn't met since last year, you might want to reconsider, right? Social emotional support, again, what does your child need? Do they need that social and emotional support in addition to some of the academic supports? Again, understanding how they access all of this. Many kids need several supports. You might need from academic and accessibility and social and emotional. Is the campus sensitive to kids who need to collect all of that by housing all of that in a student access center, or are they in different hidden parts of campus? Again, with the transition program, summer versus freshman year and beyond. Location and size. I have a lot of families say to me, oh, my kid cannot go to a school with that many kids. And I say, you have to peel back the onion. How many kids are going to be in their program? How big are the classes they're going to be in? What does access look at? Sometimes the total population of an institution doesn't tell us that. Financial considerations are real. Everything comes with a price tag, usually not sticker price. And a lot of these exceptional, like truly integrated programs come in at added fee, unfortunately. A lot of schools that offer a program within a program, it's like another tuition bill. So understanding affordability is important. And then the data considerations are always really important. What's their outcome data look like? What's employability look like? Can we please have the contact of somebody who went through, who received these services that could talk about something they wish they had gone differently. Having those real conversations is super helpful. Here are some nationally recognized examples of programs according to some of these most popular reviews, the News and World Report, Princeton Review, Best Colleges. There's a lot of criteria that goes into determining what these colleges are. In some, there is a pay-to-play component. So this is just an example of the national landscape. The ones in bold are programs that are like integrated. Landmark College, the entire college is created for neurodivergent, learning disabled, executively challenged students, dyslexia, the entire campus, everything about how their dorms are structured, their classrooms, it's all there. Whereas University of Arizona has a very well-known what's called the SALT Center. Everything's acronyms, by the way. It's all acronyms. That's a great program. It has an additional fee. So just understanding what those are. So it's like, great, I've got this student, it's hard, and now it's going to cost me more money. There's also targeted scholarships. For students, there are a lot of organizations and human beings out there who want to see financial barriers not be an additional one for students who might already have so many. I put up a variety up here. There's ones up here for Down syndrome, autism spectrum disorder, ADHD specific. This is literally the tip of the iceberg. So there's lots of people out there wanting to pay. It's a lot of work to, to apply to all these things. So having a plan and knowing what gap you need to close and what questions you need answered is super helpful. At the end of the day, if you're looking to go to a post-secondary educational setting like a college or a university, there's an academic component to that, right? And there needs to be an academic demonstrated performance to get in. You don't just get in not meeting the criteria, the academic criteria, because you have a learning. So you get in because of your aptitude and demonstrated performance, and then can continue receiving the services. So it's really important that we do a good job, like plugging in and understanding what our kids' likelihood is and present level of performance. This is really very focused for the college landscape. There are obviously a million other programs throughout the state and region and country that do work-based skills and things like that, depending on disabilities. I second that there's lots of professionals in each of the building to help triage these questions. We love what we do, and if we don't know the answers, we love to find them. So definitely make those connections with the adults in the building who are there to help you guys through this process. Any questions for the good of the group at this point before I tag out here? Okay, great.
Are there many online
Programs? Yeah, there's a lot of online programs. In fact, a lot of the schools that offer support services, like sometimes it's easier to collect those services online. If you reach out to me after, I can run a list for you and send that to you. I'd be happy to do that, and it would probably be good for me to have it also. So that's great. Thank you. Other questions before I tap out? Okay, thank you all for coming tonight. I want to commend you all, because in addition to finding things for your kids, creating a community amongst yourself is really valuable. I know some of the most support I get in raising my daughter is in the other parents who I'm going through the journey with. So these events are important. I see many of you brought your students with you, which is really awesome. And those of you that didn't, just, you all have a wealth of information and journey. So continue to show up and share it with one another. I think that's really, really valuable. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
So we're going to get ready to have DVR come up, and then have our colleges that are here present talk to you folks more about their specific services and programs. And then hopefully, if there's a little bit of time at the end, I can answer some questions as well. One thing I want you to be aware of, both Dr. McCullough and Ms. Pullen were talking about learning about oneself. Learning styles, what kind of career areas would I be interested in? There's a really great publication called Delaware Career Compass. And if you type that in as 3 words, Delaware Career Compass, it's a fantastic printable resource. I think they also have one that's online, and that is very student friendly. And so I think that would be a fantastic free resource for you to check out. So I'm going to turn this over to the wonderful DVR, okay, and you're going to Uh, And she's going to introduce each person in turn. Okay, thank you.
It's great that you brought up the Delaware Career Compass because that comes from the Department of Labor, the Office of Market and Labor Industry, and it is designed for job exploration and career exploration. I'm LaShonta Mitchell. I'm the transition coordinator for the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation in Newcastle County. And I also assist statewide pre-employment transition services, which are services to target a younger population, ages 14 all the way up to the age of 22. Here we have Kristen Horvath. This is a counterpart. She's a counselor at Brandywine.
Brandywine. Hi, everybody. I'm a transition counselor, and I also work at the Wilmington DVR office. And yeah, I'm happy to be a part of this discussion today. Everyone introduce himself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Emily Rivera from Wilmington office. I'm a transition counselor in Concord High School, Mount Pleasant High School, AI and the charter schools.
So we don't have a lot of time. I just wanted to focus on Division of Vocational Rehabilitation. It is designed to assist youth with transitioning from high school into adult life, transitioning into the work world. Many of us, I'm a parent as well. I have two sons who have disabilities, and it's important to introduce these in a proper time frame and age. We don't want to wait till they get out of high school or to their last years of high school to start the adult world, because many times these services too, like Division of Vocational Rehabilitation, are eligibility based or apply based. So you want to make sure you have these in place as they transition out of school so it can be more seamless. The Division of Vocational Rehabilitation offers transition support for any career goal. And it encompasses a lot of support services, which help also an individual to navigate through from high school into the employment world. We also have a partnership with Dell Tech Community College across the state of Delaware, which offers first-year graduates and second-year graduates the opportunity to receive ADA support, introductions, tutoring in math and English, helping an individual get through either that first year or build themselves up to get to entry-level courses. We also are a partner with Project Search. Project Search, you may have heard about, is a national program, and it is a program where an individual works at an internship at a host business site and is hosted by a school district. So here in Newcastle County area, the host business is Christiana Care Hospital, and the host district site is Red Clay School District. However, the option is open to all students, and where the individual intern does 3 rotations inside that hospital, and gets great skill, transferable skills into the workplace. Sometimes employment opportunities are optional. We're now trying to work on an additional program, hopefully to come soon. I won't reveal too much because it's a hope, but it should open up a new doorway to individuals 18 up to the ages of 24. So we're working in harmony with that. The other sites are Dale Dot, which is in Kent County. That is another Project Search site. And DVR has made these options paid internships just starting this year, where an individual does receive stipend based upon work criteria basis, such as attendance, work delivery on the actual rotation site, and feedback from that actual rotation mentor. So it really puts an individual in perspective of what the work world looks like, and in that setting, lunch, commuting back and forth to work, it's actually work, and they're trained. And the rotation sites, I know in some of the hospitals, Christiana Care has a total, I think, of 22 now. And they go from surgical supplies all the way down to maintenance, so different rotations. So in Kent County, it's also Bay Health Hospital is a host site, and down in Sussex, we have Tidal Health. So there are just some options. There's some literature on the back table. We don't have a lot of time. I will not be around, I'm sorry, but I will leave my business cards back there. You can email me or call me. I'm always available for questions. Email is the best way to reach me. And then we can set up a Zoom call or call, however you want to do it. There are referral forms back there if you want to look through some of the literature or some of the brochures or pamphlets, and you decide that I would like to give this opportunity or I would need some more information, and and refer yourselves. And there is information on the referral form is where to send it back to. Edwin and Christina will still be here. So if you have questions, but we hope that we can service you.
Thank you. So we're going to start having the,
Sorry, I just want to add a sort of a shameless plug for DVR too, because as I said, so I'm on the school board here, but I'm also the parent of a neurodivergent student. My son is on the autism spectrum, and he graduated this school year from a BSD school and is now enrolled at University of Delaware. DVR is a really, really valuable resource. And what I really like about them is they will help. Like tonight's workshop is about making that transition. Your students can start with the representatives in the BSD schools with DVR now. So they'll be able to be with DVR while they're in high school, and then they stay with them. Like my son has the same representative from DVR who was with him at Concord and is now still providing services to him at UD. So there's a lot of things that you wouldn't even think of. My son was able to actually get his driver's license because of the connection and getting driving lessons organized through DVR. So a lot of those things that come with becoming an adult that we just don't think about, how they may take those extra steps, DVR is able to provide. So they can make an individualized plan, transition plan for your student and help walk you guys through it. So just wanted to say that as sort of a personal experience that I have with them.
thank you. Okay, so we're going to start with our colleges, and we're first going to start with St. Joseph's University. So this is Miss Izzy Casey. If you can come on up, please. All right, and she's going to talk to you about the services that St. Joe's provides. Okay, thank you.
Hi everyone, so I'm with the Aspire program at St. Joseph's University. We help students who are diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder and that are working towards their bachelor's degree. Students at the university apply through a standard application process, and then you also complete a separate application for the Aspire program as well, just getting a little bit more details, submitting like IEPs, 504s, things like that. So the program provides 7 big things, the last one being optional, but we offer case management, which is with a full-time staff member. They all have their master's degree, and you meet with them, or your student would meet with them for about an hour a week, and they would work on support and executive functioning skills, time management, organization, socialization on campus, finding those resources for events and things like that. They also help with like working towards getting those accommodations and helping register for those accommodations as well. Then we also offer skill classes. So this is for freshmen and first and second year students. If anyone's transferring in as well, they would be able to opt into the skills classes. So for first year, it's college success skills. So these are things that are helpful to learn in college that no one ever tells anyone. So working on relationships, money management, resource navigation, like where to find the testing center, and all of the first year skills students are together. So it's like a group discussion and we all work together to like find these things. Then for second year, it's more career readiness. So it's focusing on resumes, interviewing, looking for internships, applying, and that process as well. We also offer peer mentoring. So each student in the program is assigned a peer mentor each semester for the first 2 years. They meet for an hour a week for a hangout, and then they meet for that hour a week for the skills as well. So the mentor goes to the skills sessions. After their sophomore year, they're encouraged to become a mentor themselves. So we have a lot of the students who, graduate into that junior year and they become a mentor and use what they've learned from their mentoring experience to help other students in the program. And then they, like I said, meet twice a week. Then study hall we offer, it's proctored by graduate assistants. I'm currently a graduate assistant in the program. So it's for 2 hours a week that the students can come, but they can utilize all the hours if they want to. It's just a required 2 hours a week because it gives that time where they can work on their schoolwork and if they have any questions or need any support. Then we also have employment services. So this is for our juniors and seniors, supported internships with partnered employees, assistance with employment navigation, and staff members help to find these resources for them. Social events, so we have a lot of social events that we offer through the mentoring program. We have big monthly hangouts at the end of each month, or at the beginning of each month, where everyone in the program comes together and we do different activities, really depending on the month. We do a lot of trivia. We're doing karaoke this month, which is exciting. It's a new thing we're doing. So it really builds that socialization and peer connection for the students, and they get to meet others in the program. And then our optional program is the supported residence hall. So this is for students. If the student comes to our school, they can live in any dorm that they want to, but we do offer through our program a supported residence hall, which is just for individuals in our program. Currently, we have 15 students living there right now, and it provides an extra support. So we have Sunday dinners where we all cook together. We work on like those executive functioning or the daily living skills and independent skills of like the grocery store, navigating how to get groceries and things like that. And then we also have game nights, so all the students can come together, and we have a weekly meeting where we all check in and go over any concerns that are occurring. And then we also have additional social events and community building activities. So we go out off of campus and do activities at the end of each month too, which is really exciting. So I know that was a lot of information. I'm at the back table too, so if you have any questions, you can definitely come and grab some of our brochures and flyers and everything like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Stacy. And don't forget, those scan me's are out there. They're a little big, you can't miss them. So make sure that you scan that, because all of these colleges, we have links to their various web pages so that you can find this information directly. Yes.
Did she mention when their application deadline was, and if there's a separate application
So we
deadline?
have a running application. So even we've had some students who apply for the program like a week before school starts. Obviously, that's not very ideal. The only requirement is that you have to have applied to St. Joe's as well. So you can't just apply to the Aspire program. You also have to have a running application.
Right, and that's usually for like all the schools. You apply to the college first, just like financial aid. You apply to the school first, then all the other things kind of happen, okay? All right, and so now I would like to introduce our Chestnut Hill College representative. It's Miss Julie Dugan, Assistant Director. If you can come on up, please.
Hello. Again, my name is Julia Dugan. I'm the Assistant Director at Chestnut Hill College Neurodiversity Program. So I both have worked in the admissions office for Chestnut Hill before transitioning over to be the Assistant Director of the Neurodiversity Program. First and foremost, I just want to say, so I am a neurodivergent individual. Our program has been created and developed by lived experiences from neurodivergent individuals. I also just want to say hello to all of the students who are attending today. I know a lot of these conversations are oftentimes geared to parents, which is very valid, but thank you to all the students that also took the time to come in today on a school night. So in terms of our program, we are also very similar to St. Joe's. It would be a 4-year bachelor degree seeking student who is attending Chestnut Hill College can join our program. We are not specific to a diagnosis. So if you identify as neurodivergent, you could have autism, ADHD, dyslexia, dyspraxia, generalized anxiety, OCD, none of the above, all of the above. We're not diagnosis specific. In terms of building an accommodation plan, if you are within my program, we build your accommodation plan for you. You can provide your IEP or 504 plan. It's totally up to you and your family's decision. We have students who don't receive accommodation plans. They want to start off college without one. Most of our students do start with one. So those are conversations we can have. We don't require any, specific dated evaluation plans. Really anything that you provide to us, we will build you an accommodation plan. So in terms of what is the program, so the services that we provide one-on-one weekly check-in support. So students come and meet with either myself or my director every single week. Those are typically 30-minute to 45-minute sessions, depending on what the student wants. We're going over how are you doing academically, socially, whatever you want to get out of the program. Every single student wants to get something individualized and different out of the program, so that might look at executive functioning skills. So both myself and my director would you can think of us as executive functioning coaches, but as well, we're also touching on social engagement throughout the college. A few things that I had just kind of jotted down because of what was discussed in your previous presentations. If you would like to receive housing accommodations, those are things that you can request. A lot of the students in my program might request having a single on campus. That is something that you can definitely apply for, and we can help you receive that accommodation. We have about 50% of our students are either commuters or live on campus. We don't have designated housing for students in the neurodiversity program. We are a very small college. We're about 1,000 students in total. And then about currently in our, I call it our third year, it's kind of our second year with our guinea pig class of the neurodiversity program. So there's about 25 students in total at the college in the program, looking to bring on 10 more for next year. We also do weekly academic coaching sessions, so similarly facilitated study halls where we can go over organization, prioritization of assignments. Could you just help me look over what this assignment is asking of me? Though we do ask our students to attend 1 hour of those a week, but we offer them every single day, and students are more than welcome to attend more than once a week. We also have weekly student-led social engagement activities that happen either on Tuesdays or Fridays. Those are totally student-led. So we have a club, our NeuroSpicy Network, which any students or staff are able to be a part of the club. They don't have to be in the program. And the executive board, which is made up of all students, help plan the event. So this week we are taking a trip off campus to go get lunch in the town of Chestnut Hill. Last week they had a kickball game. The week before that they decorated for Halloween. And so those are all student-led. And it's not required for you to go to every single social event in the program. It's sort of what do you like to get out of it. We have mindfulness and engagement sessions, as well as during your one-on-one check-ins, we'll help schedule those academic supports that might be a writing center appointment, math center, literacy specialist, specialized tutoring, more academic coaching sessions, stuff like that, as well as monthly career development support. We work closely with the Neurodiversity Employment Network. So we are partnering our students with internships before they graduate, and then are connecting with the Neurodiversity Employment Network to look into job coaching, careers in the field, and finding, specific internships that'll match the students' strengths and what they want out of both their college career as well as this program. A few more things. So for the acceptance into the program, like we had said before, you want to be accepted into the college first, and then you would just, once you get your acceptance letter from Chestnut Hill in general, you just click a little button that says, I'm interested in the neurodiversity program. That kind of onboards you with us. Looks like some forms you fill out for us, as well as an interview with just myself and the student to make sure that the student is the one that wants to be in the program. It's very important for us that we're building self-advocacy skills, as well as the student has a want of getting something out of the program, and that their parents aren't just forcing them into it, because the greatest strength out of the program is that the student sees the benefit from it. So I'll be in the back if you have any questions. I'm more than happy. Pick my brain, please.
Hi. All right, so thank you so much. Again, don't forget to get that code so that you have the direct links to all of these wonderful resources that you're learning about. So the next person, just coordinating here. Did we confirm Mercyhurst or University of Delaware? Okay, so we're going to turn to the University of Delaware, and this is, my apologies here, I'm doing a number of things at once. Where is she? There it is. It's going to be Miss Adrienne Cornish-Lucas, Assistant Director of Spectrum Scholars.
Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
There she is.
Now can we hear her?
Can I turn this off?
No.
Oh, no, I was trying to make sure you are okay.
Yep.
Awesome. Alrighty, so thank you all for having me. I'm Adrienne Cornish Lucas, the Assistant Director of Spectrum Scholars at the University of Delaware. Spectrum Scholars is the College to Career initiative at the University of Delaware that supports students on the autism spectrum, but we also have general supports for neurodiverse students as well. Hey y'all. Our program does support in the areas of academic, self-care, self-advocacy, social engagement, career development, interdependent living, and executive functioning. And we have 3 tiers of service, but 2 tiers of student support of those 3 tiers. Our most comprehensive and individualized supports are our tier 3 services, and that includes an hour of individualized coaching per week, and an hour of group coaching per week for our first and second year students, which the group coaching is a class that students can take for credit or no credit. With students who were admitted into our program at the same time. So it's like a small group class, and the aspects of group coaching are the same thing as individual, but just in a group setting. And the admissions process is similar to what everybody else said as far as university programs. You have to first be admitted into the University of Delaware first. And when our application cycle opens, you can apply. We will confirm admission prior to scheduling an interview, just so we can confirm that, all of those qualifying things are happening, like admission into the University of Delaware. So we talked about individual coaching, group coaching. We also have a really extensive career services and supports as well. We have dedicated career counselors who work hand in hand with the university, career services, as well as the Neurodiversity Employment Network and a bunch of other organizations who support our students, and they support in all things career, from elevator pitches and resume development and interview skills and job coaching. And if you don't know what you want to do, helping you figure all those things out as well. So that was career, and we have social engagement as well. We have a dedicated social student engagement and social engagement portion of our program, in which at our program, once a month or so, we do have events happening within our office space for students within Spectrum Scholars, but also for other neurodiverse students on campus. But a big portion of what we do is to encourage our students to go into the campus community, to join a club, start a club, do a sport, anything that the student wants to do. We certainly encourage our students to do so. And then we also have peer mentors, and they're upperclassmen, student volunteers who are trained not only as certified peer educators through NASPA, but we also have autism inclusion awareness and acceptance trainings that our certified staff do to make sure that the student volunteers feel well supported, well knowledgeable, but also well trained to support neurodiverse students on campus. So that is really the bulk of what we do: the individual coaching, the group coaching, the career support, and the peer mentor as well. We do have a study session or study hall, which is an hour a week for our students, our first year students. It is mandatory, but in year 2s and beyond, as long as students maintain a 3.0 average for the semester, not cumulative, we do say that they could opt in or out of study sessions. But as soon as we check GPAs and grades and things, so as soon as we see that kind of dip, we're like, okay, here, let's get you back signed up for this, because we know the natural consequences of not sticking with academics is that we're not able to support you because you're on academic probation and or out of the university. So we make sure that not only other aspects, but academics is a priority as well. So that's really okay. So that is really the bulk of what we do. I was just asked to share the university's application deadline, which I don't know offhand. I apologize. So it looks like for regular admissions, December 1st and December 1st for honors, excuse me, and January 15th for regular admission. As far as the Spectrum Scholars application, typically our application opens between November and January. It may open closer to January this year, as our director is actually out on paternity leave. We are excited for him, but that delays a few of our processes as well. But we do try to have admissions decisions to our families prior to the UD commitment date, in which you have to pay your deposit and say your yes or no. But just depending on how the cycle goes, that may be a little delayed as well. But that is the goal, to have those answers out prior to you having to pay a deposit and to give your decision as well, because that may be a big factor for some families, whether they come to the university or not. So that is that. If you do have any questions, I'm sure someone can share my contact information. I'm sure Dr. Jagade can share it as well. Thank you all for having me.
Thank you very much. And just so you know, as far as a lot of the colleges with the specialized, like the autism programs, the sooner once you get accepted to the school, and then you do want to go ahead and get moving on that separate application to, like, for example, Aspire or Autism Scholars, because the number of people that get hired is dependent on how many people are in the program. So that's why you don't want to wait until the last minute, okay, because that could impede having enough folks to make sure that everybody's covered. So we're now going to move on to Mercyhurst University, and we have Mr. Ryan Palm, Executive Director of the Brad McGarry Center for Neurodiversity. Hi, Mr. Palm.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to connect with you all. I'm going to try and share my screen. I don't know if that's going to work or not, but it'll help me kind of stay on task. Hopefully you can see it. I'm from Mercyhurst University, which is a beautiful residential university in Northwest Pennsylvania. So it's in the opposite corner from Philadelphia. I'm sure many of you are more familiar with that. It's about 6 hours away, I think, from where you're sitting tonight. So it's a bit of a drive, but we probably have 20 students in our program and hundreds on our campus that are from your neck of the woods. So there's plenty of carpool opportunities as well. So we have about 2,700 students on our campus at Mercyhurst. We have 72 students currently enrolled in our autism initiative at Mercyhurst. You'll hear me frequently refer to that as the AIM program, and we are happy to tell you a little bit about that tonight. I've got the mission statement up here, and I like to include this only because we emphasize that we support all domains of college life. I believe one of the things that makes our program distinct from some of the others in the space is that we really focus on where our students' needs are. Some it's social, some it's emotional, some it's working on their career aspirations. Others may need some academic support. We really try and meet our students where they are, and we do a lot of different things throughout their week, their month, their year to help support those different efforts. And that's a lot of what I will talk about today briefly. So a little bit about the history of our program. We're currently in our 16th year as a program, which is pretty wild to think about. So we are one of the oldest out there. We're also probably one of the largest. We were founded in 2008. We have a strong reputation nationally. We have students in our program from 10, 15 different states, as far as California, Texas, and Florida, and quite a few regional students as well. We have a strong international reach as well. In fact, we're taking a group of students to Dublin, Ireland in May. We're really excited about that opportunity. We also established a Center for Neurodiversity 2 years ago. This is really reflective of the university's commitment to helping support those who have more broad neurodiversity diagnoses, and we're excited about where the future will take us with some of those initiatives. This is a snapshot of what our student population looks like. So we have, again, about 70 students. They range in class designations. You can see some of our more popular majors. Although students on our campus can study any academic program they'd like, you can see we've got some popular majors in cybersecurity, history, graphic design, and the like. You can see the geographic breakdown of our students. They come from all over the place. Every year it's a little bit different, and they bring many diverse perspectives with them to campus. We also offer a summer program. It's a college preparedness program. This program is open to rising seniors, so you can take the program between your junior and senior year in high school, or if you've graduated high school, you come visit us for those dates you can see there in July. You live on the campus, you eat in our dining hall, you take a college course that is for academic credit if you pass the course, and you really develop a lot of the college preparedness skills that you may be thinking about as you look forward to what your college journey might look like. Mercyhurst has a rolling application deadline, so you can apply anytime, and as long as there's space within the class late in the semester, spring semester, there's opportunities for enrollment there. You do have to apply and accepted by Mercyhurst independently, and then we will consider an application for the AIM program. It is a separate application that requires documentation of the autism diagnosis, as well as a 504 or IEP. And then we have conversations about what that process might look like, what kind of questions we have. And then we offer interviews for our students and the families to come to campus, learn about our program, talk about college aspirations, major interests, and really try and get a sense on, does the student want to go to college, and can we be a good fit for that student? This is just a kind of a sample of what a week might look like for a student in our program. All of these activities are coordinated and facilitated by our staff. So we have a full-time staff of 7 people plus a half-time person, and we put on all kinds of activities for the students in our program that go above and beyond what is offered by their classes, by our learning support services team. These are all activities that are unique to our program. And I think that's really a big part of what we do and why we're very successful at helping students assimilate to the college experience. We have a neurodiversity club that brings together neurodiverse and neurotypical students. We have study hall offered currently 3, 4, 5 times a week, depending on the time of year, where we hire upperclassmen tutors and support personnel to be able to help students navigate the college transition. We offer cooking and camaraderie course every Monday night, where our staff joins together with students and we create those cooking opportunities. There's so much more that goes into that. This is a little bit about some of the key areas that we talk about with our students. They all have a weekly one-on-one meeting with the staff member, and this gives them that opportunity to break down some of these key domains, talk about where their support needs are that vary largely student to student. We are running a dual enrollment pilot program that will launch in January. If you have interest in that, please let me know. It's free of charge for students during this pilot. There's no cost for the course nor the support that is being offered. It's a great opportunity. We have distinct housing for our students that is optional, not required. These are a few photos of the apartment. Each student shares the apartment with one other student, and they have their own private bedroom that you can see there. So it's a great opportunity to have a mix of spending some time with a roommate, but still having your own private space to just to decompress and stay connected. This is my email address. I will gladly share my slides and any information that I can be of help with. We are thrilled to have a chance to talk with any of you that have an interest in learning more about Mercyhurst. We have information sessions that we hold monthly. In fact, we have one tonight that I'm heading to as soon as I hang up here. So please don't hesitate to reach out if I can be of any help. And again, thanks so very much for allowing me to join tonight. It's great to be with you all.
Thank you very much. Okay, and so next we're going to turn to Temple University, and this is Dr. Sharon Thompson, Coordinator Licensed Psychologist of the College Success Program.
Hello, thank you for having me tonight. I'm happy to be here to represent the College Success Program at Eastern University. We are a small private Protestant Christian university in the northwest suburbs of Philadelphia. We have just under 2,000 undergraduate students on campus. We usually have 15 to 20 students in our autism support program. And we also provide wraparound services. So we support students with all aspects of their college experience. And we have some program components that are in place for everyone. We offer a pre-fall semester orientation for first year and transfer students so that they can get used to campus and the CSP staff before other students arrive on campus. Each student is also assigned a peer mentor who would be a sophomore or above, who is trained and supervised by me, who meets with the student weekly to provide academic and social support. We also offer supervised study sessions for 10 hours a week. And we have supported residence life option. Students who are in the program can get priority consideration for a single room in Hainer Residence Hall. And we have 2 graduate students who live in that residence hall. They receive training and supervision from me. They mostly run our study group. We have the peer mentors rotate through some of those nights. And the graduate mentors are also on call when my office is closed. So evenings and weekends, the students have someone they can reach out to if they have a concern while my office is closed. And the graduate mentors help students with any issues related to residence life. The staff, the residence life staff in that hall also get additional training so that they're more aware of autism and other types of neurodivergence and can be more supportive to students. We also have a weekly 1-hour skills group where we cover a variety of topics from academic success skills, social interaction skills, and career readiness skills, as well as self-care and just general life skills. So we do that weekly. The students kind of set the agenda of things they want to talk about. We also have planned and supported social events for the students throughout the semester, which can be things on or off campus. The mentors and the students work together to figure out what they're going to do. And then I provide a lot of training across campus, consultation with departments and liaison support for the students with faculty and other departments on campus. We also have a close relationship with our academic resource center, which hosts the tutoring center, the writing center, and the testing center for accommodations. So students in the program get priority assignments for tutors and writing assistants, and also provide training for the tutors and writing assistants. We also have a close relationship with our career development office. They are involved with the Neurodiversity Employment Network, and they work closely with our students, either individually or they come and do sessions during our skills group. So that's the majority of the overall supports. Similar to the other schools, students would need to apply to the university first, and then they can apply to be part of the College Success Program. Our application is online. We ask that the student fill out the application to the extent possible. We like to get to know the student from their own perspective rather than from the parent's perspective. And we also ask for supporting documentation. So whether that's an IEP, a 504, or some sort of psychological psychoeducational or neuropsychological evaluation. Our application process does also include an interview with just the student and myself, and that gives us a chance to get to know one another and see if our program is a really good fit for the student. Thank you again for having me here, and I'm happy to receive any inquiries you have about our program.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. Okay, so now we're going to move to Westchester University and Miss Amanda Martin, Assistant Director of Autism Services. Hi, Miss Martin. Yep.
Can she hear?
Can you hear us, Miss?
I think she's got to unmute.
Amanda is currently listed as an attendee and not a panelist.
Oh, that'll do it. Yeah, I guess 1 second.
Allowed to talk?
And just as a reminder, we'll gather all of these slide
There she is,
presentations
okay.
and send them to all of you. So if you haven't provided your email address, please just give it to us before you leave and make sure you get them.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me now? Thank you. Thank you, Megan. It was wonderful to meet you all. Thank you for all coming out and attending tonight. As was said, my name is Amanda Martin, Assistant Director, Autism Services at Westchester University. Here for our program, the mission of DCAP is to provide a supportive and inclusive community for our degree-seeking ASD students via direct and indirect supports. We provide indirect supports to faculty, staff, and student peers via informational sessions, panels like this tonight, department trainings, individualized meetings, and then we work one-on-one with our students in executive functioning, academic planning, self-care, independence, social connection, self-advocacy, as well as professional development, employment, and their future career paths. For DCAP, the application, just like all the other programs you've heard so far, is you do need to apply to Westchester University first, then you would apply to DCAP. For our program, we do have some requirements to apply. You do need an eval dated within 3 years of the application to confirm the ASD diagnosis. We also request that the student's most recent IEP or 504 plan, they have one within the last 3 years, be shared. And we have a student intake form that we ask folks to fill out, as well as applying for OVR for our PA residents, or if you're out of the state of Pennsylvania, whatever vocational rehabilitation office that your state offers. All right. So that kind of gives you a general overview of our office. Some of the services that we offer our students is one, there's 3 tier levels to our program. Most of our students do start off at tier 1, so that'd be about 5 hours a week. That's going to be 1 hour of once a week meeting with your skills specialist, 1 hour a week attending a group. Group is not counseling. Some folks ask that. Group is going to be learning different independent living skills or different offices on campus. So different things we've had students request, because this is something we ask our students, what do you want to learn about? It could be registering how to vote, since that's something that's coming up. It could be learning, hey, our first years, how do we do laundry if mom and dad have always done it? And then for our more advanced groups, it might be things like applying to grad school. We actually have several students who have gone to Westchester, went through undergrad, decided to stay and attend grad school. And we support those students as well. DCAP is open not just to undergrads, but master's and PhD level as well. We ask that students spend 2 hours a week for study hall. We do not sit here and watch them. If you were in college, you were an adult, but we ask that they spend 2 hours a week either at our program's office or in the library. And then 1 hour a week for social interaction, whether that be in DCAP at our daily hangout opportunities, or that could be joining a club on campus, or hanging out with their roommates, different things like that. We also offer a tier 2 and tier 3 option, which are very similar to the tier 1, except that they would meet less frequently with their skills support person. So tier 2 would meet every other week instead of weekly, and tier 3 would be once a month instead of weekly. All right. One more thing I want to mention for our program is we also offer transition programs. Since a lot of you folks here tonight are in high school, we do offer something called the College Autism Readiness Retreat, and do not need to be going to Westchester University to apply to this. This is an experience to learn what college is about. We have CAR 1, 2, and 3. CAR 1 is for rising juniors, CAR 2 is for seniors in high school, and CAR 3 is graduated from high school, hasn't started college yet. And in these programs, students get to kind of learn about college. What is college like? What resources are available at college? All right, so that's what I have for my program tonight. If anyone has any questions, email is the best way to get a hold of me. Martin2, and I will spell this out, AMARTIN, number 2, at wcupa.edu. And I am more than happy to answer any individualized questions that folks have, or set up a meeting to come tour our office. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And also don't forget, if you scan that code, right, it'll take you right to the page that I do know for a fact lists her email address and phone number, so thank you. Okay, so we're now going to move to Kutztown University, and this is Megan Rudder.
Hello. My name is...
Yep, so I was just going to say, this is Ms. Megan Rudder, and she's Assistant Director of Special Programs in the Disability Services Office.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for that introduction. So I, as she said, am Assistant Director in the Disability Services Office at Kutztown University. Kutztown University is one of Pennsylvania's now 12 state schools. We're in the mid-range, so right now we have about 7,500 students total on campus. And the My Place program, which is our specialized autism support program, currently has 53 students in it. So kind of going to go through most of the same things that others that went before me mentioned. So in terms of applications, Kutztown University's application is open and is rolling applications. So there's not a deadline. Students can apply to Kutztown University up until the first week of classes. So application for the My Place program works very similarly to what others have shared. Students first apply to Kutztown University and can begin their application to the My Place program before receiving their formal acceptance, but we will not schedule their interview and our kind of transitional meetings until they've received that formal acceptance from the university. Part of what we'll discuss during our interview and our transitional meeting will be college readiness. So being accepted to Kutztown University is not necessarily the same as being ready for college, and getting accepted into the My Place program will also talk about more of those college readiness skills that we focus on in the program. So once a student begins their bachelor degree courses at Kutztown University, they are part of the My Place program once they get through that application process. So kind of similar to Westchester's because we were designed at the same time. Our program has 3 tiers. So our highest support tier has a 6-hour per week requirement, and the middle tier is 3 hours a week, and then the bottom tier is either half an hour per week or 1 hour every other week. So within the requirements of those tiers, it changes depending on a student's individual need. The one thing that stays in every tier is the one-on-one meeting with their assigned graduate student mentor. So the My Place program, as well as having 2 full-time staff members, has this semester we have 6 graduate students and 2 graduate student interns that work for the program. The bulk of what they do is meet one-on-one with the students and go over their individualized needs based on whatever they're struggling with, whatever they could use the most support with. For a lot of students, that is academics. So going through what to do that week and ensuring that they're on top of their work, but can also include things like social support, executive functioning, the time management, note-taking, organizational pieces of college academia, independent living skills, and career development skills once a student is either ready to move into the career development area or in like the second half of their junior into their senior year. So what a student will attend within those tiers is going to depend on what a student mainly needs. But our recommendation for the 6-hour tier is the one-on-one meeting, 2 hours of structured study hall, which we facilitate from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday in a space that is designed to be sensory and distraction reduced and is facilitated, watched over by one of our My Place graduate students. An hour, 1, 2, 3, 2 hours of social engagement. So for a lot of students, that is attending a club as well as a group meal, which we hold every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. After we get a couple weeks into the semester, we alter which ones we're offering based on when students are showing up. As well as a social activity every Friday. So students can decide kind of which of those events they want to attend to meet their requirements. We also offer workshops. There's at least 1 workshop a week, depending on how the availability of our staff and student interest. The workshop that is happening right now is on budgeting and credit monitoring and things like that. But we also we have upcoming workshops for career development. We've done workshops on friendships and relationships. And we did a sex ed workshop that went over really well that students really enjoyed. It's really based on the needs and the interests of the students. I see your message. And that's really it, that is the bulk of the My Place program. So we support students in their needs as they move through Kutztown University. Some students transition out of our program, but yeah, I am happy to also answer any questions that you have about the My Place program. So thank you.
Thank you very much. We did have one other school that couldn't make it. There was a transmission issue with getting the Zoom link. It was Temple University, but their information is listed on the the QR code. So I know it's a lot. It's information overload, right? It's like you're like, oh, now I understand the sensory piece, right? So, but we do thank you for coming. It's amazing when you hear all of these services that are out there to support our children. And it's such a cool thing. I just got goosebumps again just thinking about it. So we really hope that you have some time to kind of digest this information and, use those links that we've provided to, do that deep dive and find even more that's going to help your children/students. And, let us know if you have any other questions. So I just want to thank everybody here that came to help tonight. Thank you so much for making this happen. And Dr. Jagade as well for meeting with me and coming together and making sure that we could provide this information. And I'm just so excited. And Dr. McCullough and Ms. Holman, like all these folks really want to put things together to really support our kiddos and make sure that they can go as far as they want to. So thank you very much.
And we also have the tables in the back.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Grab any brochures on your way out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Do we have your email?
Can't go by seeing the fancier.